Bere'shiyth, Genesis, chapter 12. Now Yahweh had said unto Abram,
Get you out of your country, and from your kindred, and from your father's house, unto a land that I will show you. And I will make of you a great nation, and I will bless you, and make your name great, and you shall be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless you, and curse him that curses you. And in you shall all families of the earth be blessed.
So Abram departed as Yahweh had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarai his woman, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran. And they went forth to go into the land of Canaan, and into the land of Canaan they came. And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Shechem, unto the plain of Moreh, and the Canaanite was in the land. And Yahweh appeared unto Abram and said,
Unto your seed will I give this land.
And there built he an altar unto Yahweh, who appeared unto him. And he removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Beit El, and pitched his tent, having Beit El on the west, and Ai on the east. And there he built an altar unto Yahweh, and called upon the name of Yahweh. And Abram journeyed, going on still towards the Negev. And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down into Mitzrayim to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land. And it came to pass, when he was come near to enter into Mitzrayim, that he said unto Sarai his woman,
Behold now, I know that you are a fair woman to look upon. Therefore it shall come to pass when the Mitzrayim shall see you, that they shall say, This is his woman, and they will kill me, but they will save you alive. Say, I pray you, you are my sister, that it may be well with me for your sake, and my soul shall live because of you.
And it came to pass, that when Abram was come into Mitzrayim, the Mitzrayim beheld the woman, that she was very fair. The princes also of Pharaoh saw her, and commended her before Pharaoh. And the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house. And he entreated Abram well for her sake. And he had sheep and oxen, and he asses, and men servants, and maid servants, and she asses, and camels. And Yahweh plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's woman. And Pharaoh called Abram and said,
What is this that you have done unto me? Why did you not tell me that she was your woman? Why said you, She is my sister, so I might have taken her to be my woman? Now therefore, behold, your woman, take her, and go your way.
And Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away, and his woman, and all that he had. Bere'shiyth, Genesis, chapter 13. And Abram went up out of Mitzrayim, he, and his woman, and all that he had, and Lot with him, into the Negev. And Abram was very rich in cattle, in silver, and in gold. And he went on his journeys from the Negev even to Beit El, unto the place where his tent had been at the beginning, between Beit El and Ai, unto the place of the altar which he had made there at the first. And there Abraham called on the name of Yahweh. And Lot also, which went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents, and the land was not able to bear them, that they might dwell together, for their substance was great, so that they could not dwell together. And there was a strife between the herdsmen of Abram's cattle and the herdsmen of Lot's cattle. And the Canaanite and the Perizzite dwelled then in the land. And Abram said unto Lot,
Let there be no strife, I pray you, between me and you, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we be brethren. Is not the whole land before you? Separate yourself, I pray you, from me. If you will take the left hand, then I will go to the right. Or if you depart to the right hand, then I will go to the left.
And Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the circle of the Yarden, that it was well watered everywhere, before Yahweh destroyed Sodom and Amorah, even as the garden of Yahweh, like the land of Mitzrayim, as ye come unto Zoar. Then Lot chose him all the circle of the Yarden, and Lot journeyed east, and they separated themselves, the one from the other. And Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in the cities of the circle of the Yarden, and pitched his tent toward Sodom. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before Yahweh exceedingly. And Yahweh said unto Abram, after that Lot was separated from him,
Lift up now your eyes, and look from the place where you are, northward and southward, and eastward and westward. For all the land which you see, to you will I give it, and to your seed forever. And I will make your seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall your seed also be numbered. Arise, walk through the land in the length of it and in the breadth of it, for I will give it unto you.
Then Abram removed his tent, and came and dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron, and built there an altar unto Yahweh. Bere'shiyth, Genesis chapter 14. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elakar, Kedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations, that these made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and with Birsha, king of Amorah, Shinav, king of Admah, and Shem-Eber, king of Tseboim, and the king of Bela, which is Zoar. All these were joined together in the valley of Siddim, which is the Salt Sea. 12 years they served Kedorlaomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled. And in the 14th year came Kedorlaomer, and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaim in Ashtaroth Karnaim, and the Zuzim in Ham, and the Emim in Shaveh Kiriathaim, and the Horim in their Mount Seir, unto El Paran, which is by the wilderness. And they returned and came to En Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekim, and also the Amorim, that dwelt in Chatzron Tamar. And there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Amorah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Tseboim, and the king of Bela, the same as Zoar, and they joined battle with them in the valley of Siddim, with Kedorlaomer, the king of Elam, and with Tidal, king of nations, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elakar, 4 kings with 5. And the valley of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sodom and Amorah fled, and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountain. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Amorah, and all their victuals, and went their way. And they took Lot, Abram's brother, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. And there came one that had escaped, and told Abram the Ivri, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abram. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan. And he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Kedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with him, at the valley of Shaveh, which is in the king's valley. And Malkitzedek, king of Shalem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of El Elyon. And he blessed him and said,
Blessed be Avram of El Elyon, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be El Elyon, which has delivered your enemies into your hand.
And he gave him tithes of all. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram,
Give me the persons, and take the goods for yourself.
And Abram said to the king of Sodom,
I have lifted up my hand unto Yahuwah, El Elyon, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is yours, lest you should say, I have made Avram rich, save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. Let them take their portion.
Bere'shiyth, Genesis chapter 15. After these things, the word of Yahweh came unto Abram in a vision, saying,
Fear not, Avram. I am your shield, and your exceeding great reward.
And Abram said,
Adonai, Yahuwah, what will you give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus?
And Abram said,
Behold, to me you have given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is my heir.
And behold, the word of Yahweh came unto him, saying,
This shall not be your heir, but he that shall come forth out of your own generation shall be your heir.
And he brought him forth abroad and said,
Look now towards the heavens, and count the stars, if you be able to number them.
And he said unto him,
So shall your seed be.
And he believed in Yahweh, and he counted it to him for righteousness. And he said unto him,
I am Yahuwah, that brought you out of Ur of the Kasdim, to give you this land to inherit it.
And he said,
Adonai, Yahuwah, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it?
And he said unto him,
Take me a heifer of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon.
And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another, but the birds he divided not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram,
Know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward they shall come out with great substance, and you shall go to your fathers in peace. You shall be buried in a good old age. But in the 4th generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorim is not yet full.
And it came to pass that when the sun went down, and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace, and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. And the same day Yahweh cut a covenant with Abram, saying,
Unto your seed have I given this land, from the river of Mitzrayim unto the great river, the river Perath, the Canaim, and the Kenazim, and the Kadmonim, and the Hittim, and the Perizim, and the Rephaim, and the Amorim, and the Kenainim, and the Girgashim, and the Yevusim.
Bere'shiyth, Genesis chapter 16. Now Sarai, Abram's woman, bore him no children, and she had a handmaid, a Mitzrite, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram,
Behold now, Yahuwah has restrained me from bearing. I pray you, go in unto my maid, It may be that I may obtain children by her.
And Abram hearkened to the voice of Sarai. And Sarai, Abram's woman, took Hagar, her maid, the Mitzrim, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her man Abram to be his woman. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said unto Abram,
My wrong be upon you. I have given my maid into your bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. Yahuwah judge between me and you.
But Abram said unto Sarai,
Behold, your maid is in your hand. Do to her as it pleases you.
And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. And the angel of Yahweh found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way to Shur. And he said,
Hagar, Sarai's maid, whence came you, and whither will you go?
And she said,
I flee from the face of my mistress Sarai.
And the angel of Yahweh said unto her,
Return to your mistress, and submit yourself under her hands.
And the angel of Yahweh said unto her,
I will multiply your seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude.
And the angel of Yahweh said unto her,
Behold, you are with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Yishmael, because Yahuwah has heard your affliction. And he will be a wild man, his hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren.
And she called the name of Yahweh that spoke unto her,
Yuel, see me.
for she said,
Have I also here looked after him that sees me?
Wherefore the well was called Bere'shiyth. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name which Hagar bore Ishmael. And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. Bere'shiyth, Genesis chapter 17. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, Yahweh appeared to Abram and said unto him,
I am El Shaddai. Walk before me and be perfect. And I will make my covenant between me and you, and will multiply you exceedingly.
And Abram fell on his face. And Elohim talked with him, saying,
As for me, behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be a father of many nations. Neither shall your name any more be called Avram, but your name shall be Avraham. For a father of many nations have I made you. And I will make you exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of you, and kings shall come out of you. And I will establish my covenant between me and you, and your seed after you, in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be Elohim unto you, and to your seed after you. And I will give unto you and to your seed after you the land wherein you are a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their Elohim.
And Elohim said unto Abraham,
You shall guard my covenant, therefore, you and your seed after you in their generations. This is my covenant, which ye shall guard, between me and you and your seed after you. Every male child among you shall be circumcised. And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be a sign of the covenant betwixt me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every male child in your generations. He that is born in the house
or bought with money of any stranger, which is not of your seed. He that is born in your house, and he that is bought with your money, must need to be circumcised. And my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised male child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant.
And Elohim said unto Abraham,
As for Sarai, your woman, you shall not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. And I will bless her, and give you a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be a mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her.
Then Abraham fell upon his face and laughed, and said in his heart,
Shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And shall Sarah, that is 90 years old, bear?
And Abraham said unto Elohim,
Oh, that Ishmael might live before you.
and Elohim said,
Sarah your woman shall bear you a son indeed, and you shall call his name Yitzhak. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I have blessed him, and will make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he beget, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant will I establish with Yitzhak, which Sarah shall bear unto you at this set time in the next year.
And he left off talking with him, and Elohim went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that were born in his house, and all that were bought with his money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in the selfsame day, as Elohim had said unto him. And Abraham was 90 years old and 9 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And Ishmael his son was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and Ishmael his son. And all the men of his house, born in the house, and bought with money of the stranger, were circumcised with him.